Grüß euch. Welcome to our next video in the Common Classroom Errors series. So just a couple quick things to work on this time. A little bit different because we're talking about one of the Flipgrid assignments. So first thing is a word that I see students consistently have a little bit of trouble with is this E-I-E sound that's a little bit weird to make. So we're going to pronounce this word fire. Fire. So if we're using the verb to celebrate, we're going to say feiern. Lieblings Feiertag is another time it might come up. But just this I-E-I fire word that you see in a lot of different words can be a little bit tricky. Then, one thing that also is coming up, be careful with the plurals and singulars. So especially when we're talking about Tradition or Traditionen. So we might say something like, my traditions, meine Traditionen sind, or if we just have one tradition we want to talk about, like a tradition I have for Christmas, eine Tradition ist. So notice that, sind and ist, and then Tradition, Traditionen. Another word that I sometimes get questions about, or not a word really, I guess a phrase, is mit wem. People are asking, what's that? Well, mit wem just means with who. And you might be asking, well, why is that wem instead of wer? And it's just sort of like the difference between sort of who and whom. Both wer and wem are both going to mean who. So it's a good phrase to know, good for asking questions, or it might be a question you get asked. The last thing we're going to look at is how to do possession in German. And the apostrophe S comes up. And in English, we can pretty much use apostrophe S with anything. The table's legs, or the country's, states, whatever it might be. But in German, it's not quite that simple. We can use the apostrophe S if we're using somebody's name. So this comes up in the last question. We're talking about where do you celebrate? So like whose house maybe. So we could say like, ich feiere Weihnachten in Susie's house. Susie's house is fine, apostrophe S with a name. But we can't use it, say, like Vater's house, Mutter's house. The apostrophe S doesn't work there. So for that, we might use the word bei, which is in the unit. We might say, bei meiner Oma, at my grandma's. We might also just say, zu Hause, at home, if you celebrate at your home. And that's it. That should help you get through the Flipgrid.